250 for high definition. You can also watch us via facebook.com/OneNewsPH and on YouTube, One News PH. But I would encourage all of you to please go ahead and subscribe to Signal TV, because there's a lot of developments for programming going on, and you would definitely enjoy the subscription. In any case, today we will talk to several experts, and first and foremost, we will be speaking with Assistant Secretary Mark Stephen Pastor of the Department of Transportation, because we would like to get clarification on the recent announcements of the Cabinet and Malacanang and the DOTr regarding the allowing one seat apart policy for public transport. Meaning kung nasa jeepney kayo, hindi katulad noon na sinusukat isang metro at yung sampuan ng matitira ay 3, ngayon po ang mangyayari isang tao na lang ang pagitan ninyo. Pero marami pong kailangan liwanagin dyan, because there have been certain ideas, suggestions, and speculations as to what this new policy or the new options are for public transport. Who among the public transport sectors will first benefit, and who will be allowed to go out in the field? How many will be allowed? I hope our next guest, our first guest, will be able to fill us on that. After that, we will speak with Father Jerome Secillano. I believe you've seen him on agenda before. He is the CBCP, Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines Public Affairs Committee Chair, and he will hopefully give us an idea of what's in store for November 1 para sa Undas po. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan nila ngayon, Undas Online. We will observe the All Souls, All Saints Day Holy Day via internet, online, social media for the Catholics. I don't know for the other faith or other religions, but that will be the option now. So let's find out how the CBCP or the Catholic Church in the Philippines plans to observe Undas. And then after that, my bigger interest would be, meron pa bang Christmas? Because a lot of the Catholics are also wondering what will become of the Simbang Gabi. Even some Christian denominations have Sambang Gabi. So what will happen? Will it also be online? How do you see Simbang Gabi or Sambang Gabi online? Or will the government allow, dahil may pwede namang 5 o'clock in the morning, di ba? We will find out from Father Jerome Secillano. Last but not the least, we go to our regular resource person and expert, Dr. Tony Leachon, regarding the current state of affairs as far as COVID-19 is concerned, the assessment of the DOTr Research Group regarding hot zones, regarding the decreasing number of incidents or share of NCR for COVID-19 cases. Kasi dati po, dahil ang malaking populasyon ay nasa Metro Manila, it follows that the bigger number of cases for COVID-19 would also be from Metro Manila. And I think back then it was about, I'm just trying to recall, I think it was about 60, if not 50%. But recently, sabi ng mga tiga-DOTr Research, Professor Guido David, said that it's gone down to 40% share of the COVID-19 cases, which means that the mayors, the authorities in the National Capital Region are actually doing something right. Let's find out from Tony Leachon later what his assessment is of the situation, as well as this new policies from the government regarding allowing 15 to 65-year-old to be allowed outside of residences. What should we, the citizens, the members of the public sector, do or contribute to make sure that 40% goes lower, and para doon naman sa mga hotspots, ba't nagkakaganon? Like in Baguio, tumataas daw. Okay? So, we'll go with that. And for the meantime, let's go to the stories on the front page of the Philippine Star. And here they are. The Labor Department stands firm that companies cannot defer the release of 13-month pay of its employees. As for distressed businesses, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said that he is now in talks with the Finance Department to figure out a subsidy for these employers. But for the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP, they hope that the government requirements for this assistance won't be hard or complicated. Otherwise, it will be of no use, as companies may just forgo applying. Next up, speaking of distressed companies, the number of workers who lost jobs during this pandemic has reached 3.6 million Filipinos, says the Labor Department. Secretary Bello said that a majority of these workers were laid off temporarily, and they are expected to be rehired by their employers in the coming months as the economy continues to reopen. This number of displaced workers is mostly attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Allow me to just make a short comment on this particular topic. I just want to point out something to those employers. I once attended a seminar given by a U.S. State Department official many years ago, and that lady pointed out that during the financial crisis in the 80s, 90s, many companies in the United States did retrenchments. The media organizations, she pointed out, cut back on about 30% of their employees to cut costs, operations, etc. Unfortunately, when things normalized, these companies, whether media, private sector, discovered that they had retrenched many of the people who had earned them those windfall incomes. Yung mga taong pinaalis nila, marami doon sa mga taong pinaalis nila ay yung mga taong nagpanik ng malaking kita sa kumpanya. So nung bumalik na sa normal yung ekonomiya, when the economy went back to normal, they didn't have the star performers in their stables anymore. So it became very difficult for them to get back the kind of earnings that they used to have. So paalala lang po yun, word of wisdom for those of you who are undergoing or processing, sino bang papaalisin ko, sino bang i-retain ko. Remember, check performance. Don't just check bottom lines. Yung mga Excel spreadsheet na yan na sinasabi ng isang guest natin the other day. Naku po, pag dinaan ninyo yan sa papel, baka puro papel na lang ang tingnan ninyo pag wala na kayong tao. Anyway, finally, the Philippine Red Cross, here's bad news. The Philippine Red Cross is now stopping its COVID-19 tests that are chargeable to PhilHealth. The reason, the state insurer has not been able to pay the testing fees accumulated by Red Cross, which currently stands at 930 million pesos. Red Cross usually serves to overseas Filipino workers, frontliners, and other government workers. Now, these people have to go to other accredited testing centers. National Task Force Chief Implementer gave assurance that the government is ironing out this concern of the Philippine Red Cross. Okay, sorry, just have a bad cold again. But in any case, yung pong tungkol sa Red Cross, medyo matagal-tagal na rin yan. Bago pa nagputukan dyan sa PhilHealth, nagkatanggalan ng tao, sinasabi na ni Senator Richard Gordon, chairman of the Philippine Red Cross, You owe us 600 already, ha? Ano ba yun? 600 million pesos. Aba, ilang buwan pa lang yun, nadagdagan pa pala ng 330 million pesos in 2 months, I think. Medyo masakit nga naman yon. And the Red Cross, although sabi ng ibang tao, medyo, baka kumikita sila dun sa kanilang COVID-19, kailangan nilang kumita. Ang problema, hindi na nga kita abonado pa. Okay, so we will find out about that situation in the future. If we can get Senator Richard Gordon on the program, medyo mailap si Senator Gordon. Ewan ko kung napupuyat siya masyado. Anyway, let's continue on with the program. Our first topic would be the Department of Transportation kasi marami pong biglang movements, sabi ni Presidente ng Cabinet, let's allow 15 to 65-year-old to go out, which means that there's probably going to be a doubling of people who need to move around the country and Metro Manila in particular. And of course, there's also a growing pressure on the DOTr, on Malacanang, and the transport to open up. Kasi in Metro Manila, they want to open up routes. Pero marami ring dumadaing na sa probinsya po. Marami ako nakakausap ng mga tiga-probinsya, Kuyang, kailan po ba kami makakasakay ng bus pa Maynila? Kasi po yung mga pamilya namin nando doon o kaya yung mga trabaho o yung mga nasa Manila, gusto na rin makaluwas sa probinsya. So let's find out from our first guest today, Friday, October 16, 2020, Assistant Secretary for Road Transport and Infrastructure of the DOTr ASEC, Attorney Mark Steven Pastor. Attorney, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Cito, and good morning to all your viewers.
Ang sarap naman makakita ng mga batang-batang mga opisyal sa gobyerno. Natutuwa ako because alam mo, walang biro, attorney, and I mean this with all sincerity. It's encouraging to see young people in government because my greatest fear is baka pagdating ng panahon, puro na lang kasing tanda ako matira dyan, maubos ang executive dyan sa gobyerno. In any case, ASEC, can we first talk about this announcement from Malacanang, na one seat apart? Kasi alam mo, yung mga pronouncement na ganyan, pag maraming taong pinanggagalingan, maraming interpretation, maraming version, just like the 1 meter apart. Nung biglang naglabas ng metro yung HPG, naubos yung mga pasahero sa jeepney. So, could you do us the favor, ASEC, of explaining what the situation is or clarifying whatever the policy is?
Thank you, Sir Cito. After President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and his cabinet approved the recommendations proposed by the Economic Development Cluster to aid the economic recovery, the directive of the Secretary of Transportation, Arthur Tugade, that all transportation sectors are set to implement the one seat apart rule to increase public transport capacity and operationalize more the public utility vehicle routes and units, as well as the acceleration of other programs of the department.
Okay, so it's obviously in line with the pronouncement na yung 15 to 65 palabasin na natin. Siyempre, doble yung mga working population, kailangan maraming sasakyan. Ngayon, ang tanong, sinong magpapatupad niyan, Steve? Kasi ang thinking ng mga jeepney drivers, mukhang papayagan at kami, nasa kanila yung toka, nasa kanila yung responsibility. Paano naman kung biglang nagpakita na yung mga HPG, MMDA, makikisali pa ba sila dyan or who's going to be in charge?
Tama po, Sir Cito. It will be a collective effort of all the government agencies. We are looking forward po to a whole-of-nation approach as well. For example, sir, we will tap also the other enforcement agencies such as the PNP, HPG, the LTO, LTFRB, the IAC po of the Department of Transportation, as well as MMDA, and even yung mga kababayan po natin. We will seek, of course, their assistance that we will ensure that the protocols are met, are observed, lalo na po yung sinasabi nating 7 commandments, Sir Cito, if I may. All transport sectors were ordered to ensure the strict enforcement of the following 7 commandments po, no, inside public transport, as recommended by our health experts, which I may enumerate now po briefly. Number 1 po, wearing of face masks and face shields, no talking and making telephone phone calls, no eating, keeping PUVs well ventilated, the conduct of frequent disinfection, at saka no passengers with COVID-19 symptoms will be allowed to inside the public transport, and of course observe po yung physical distancing natin, which is now 1 seat apart.
Okay, so essentially, so that the public may know, you're calling upon all of the possible agencies to enforce this, because this is going to be our biggest test yet as one nation. Kung kaya ba nating sumakay sa mga public transport, mag-observe ng distansya. Sabi nga nung mga jeepney driver sa kanilang bumper, distansya amigo. At hindi tayo magkahawan. Kasi pag nagkahawahan ba, ano bang pinag-uusapan sa DOTr, ASIC team? Pag nagkahawahan, tigil ulit, balik to 1 meter.
Magandang tanong po yan, Sir Cito. No? Isa pong direktiba, straight directive from the Secretary po, na we will observe po yung ano po yung mangyayari sa ating day-to-day cases na nire-report po ng COVID. No? If it has relation dito po sa enforcement natin ng 1 seat apart. And pag-aaralan po namin, if magkakaroon ng spike, of course, we have to review our protocols po, Sir Cito.
Okay, kuyang na lang, wag mo na ako i-share iho, no? Nahihiya ako sa inyo, kayo yung mga authority, kayo official eh. In any case, Steve, ang tanong, no, yung iba nagtatanong, sino mauuna? Are we going to start with buses first, jeepneys? Kasi ang order ni Secretary Tugade tsaka ni Presidente, immediately, patupad na yan ngayon para larga na ang mga biyahe.
Yes, sir. Ano po, sa amin po sa sector namin, Kuyang Cito, this will be applicable po to our road-based transport po, including jeepneys, buses, gayon din po ang UV Express, yung mga PhilCabs po natin. We will, this will be implemented po among all modes.
Yeah, what is our current situation as ASEC Steve? Because may mga nadinig na natin, you guys opened up the more jeepney routes, bravo. There will be 1 seat apart, bravo. The buses are there. The carousel bus is working, and a lot of people actually are now seeing the logic, and the benefit to that. What about yung mga UV Express, yung mga commuter van at saka provincial buses? Pwede ba nating isa-isahin yan?
Yeah.
Kung ano yung situation? I guess pinakamalapit sa puso ng mga kakilala ko, tiga-probinsya, alam mo naman, probinsyano pa rin ako at heart. Yung provincial bus, paano na raw yung provincial bus? Kasi marami talaga ang dumadaing sa akin na, Kuyang, i-push mo naman dahil marami sa amin hindi makaluwas at hindi makauwi.
Opo. Kuyang Cito, no, mabalikan ko rin lang po yung enforcement po natin for this particular protocol po, yung 1 seat apart. Magandang mabalita ko rin po that the IAC conducted a full operations po Wednesday afternoon po, para po mas ensure natin that the 1 seat apart has been strictly followed by our operators and drivers po. No? Now, proceeding po dun sa tanong ninyo, Kuyang Cito, for the UV Express and other route-based transport po natin, weekly po, ino-open up po ng LTFRB yung mga ruta niyan para madagdagan po ng madagdagan natin. In fact, dito po sa Metro Manila, 76 routes na po ng UV Express ang nabubuksan, and there are more or less 3,500 units that are operating now. For the provincial bus po, there are only 12 existing routes now that are leading to Metro Manila with number of authorized units at 300 po. Bakit po ganito ang sitwasyon natin? Because if we will recall po, there are different protocols for each province. So ibig sabihin po, Sir Cito, we have to coordinate with the LGU and the provincial government unit if they are to allow public provincial bus units po back and forth to their jurisdiction. So doon po yung coordination natin dahil we also understand po no na syempre
Hmm.
ang mga halal po nating opisyal sa mga probinsya, they would like to maintain or at least curb yung instances po ng COVID cases sa kanila. So they are very they are very strict and conservative in terms of opening up po. But every
Ay,
now and then po,
oh.
we continue po, the LTFRB continues to coordinate and harmonize our protocols with the provincial government units para po mabuksan po itong mga provincial bus units natin.
Nako, alam mo, ASEC Steve, mabuti. Thank you very much. Sincerely, thank you very much. Naliwanagan mo yan. Kasi hindi nasasabi yan ng mga ibang kasama mo, lalo na sa LTFRB, na hindi naman kayo yung problema eh. Hindi kayo yung naghihigpit. Kung hindi, meron ding karapatan yung mga local government at yung mga mayor na magsabing, thank you, gusto ninyo kaming padala ng mga bus pero sasakay dyan perwisyo. So ayaw nila. Kasi nangyayari, marami sa amin nag-aakala, grabe naman yung DOTr, masyado naman mahigpit. O yung LTFRB mahigpit, ba't hindi pa kawalan niya mga bus? Bakit ayaw i-push ang mga bus? Ayan, at least by your explanation, it's a very valid explanation that the problem is not a question of regulation, but a question of prevention on the part of LGUs. Paano na ang mangyayari dyan? Hindi ba natin, well, sabagay, kasi sa ngayon lang yung pagbalik probinsya, kailangan mo na ng mga testing. So, ano bang napapangitan ninyo? How does the situation look in terms of provincial buses? Because, I mean, at one point or another, people will have to go in, out, or back home to the province.
Tama po Kuya Cito, no? We recognize that fact that we need to open up our provincial routes. That is why po DOTr through LTFRB continuously po nakikipag-coordinate with our provincial government units as well as local government units. And ano naman po, as time goes by, naiintindihan naman po ng bawat isa na kailangan po natin buksan itong mga ruta na ito po because we are of course opening up our economy and concomitantly dapat kasama rin po itong ating provincial trips. So
Oh.
ano po, I think in the next 2 weeks, so LTFRB will issue again another memorandum circular increasing po the routes because the other side of the fence, kumbaga po, is allowing also to operate provincial buses na po, which are the LGUs and the PGUs.
Asik Steve, can you give me, I don't know kung kaya mo sagutin, and if you cannot, I understand completely. Kasi 2 tao na yung pinagtanungan ko, sabi ko, nung inalaw yung provincial buses na bumiyahe, ang lumabas sa media, walang tumakbo, walang lumarga. Ang sabi ko, bakit ninyo pinipicture yung walang tumakbo? Ba't hindi natin tanungin, bakit hindi lumabas yung mga provincial buses? Ang balita ko parang no point daw sa kanilang bumiyahe kasi malulugi lang sila, mas mura pang igara yung sasakyan. How do we resolve if that is true? Please confirm it, and if it is true, what solutions are the DOTr planning to undertake?
Opo. Kuya Cito, we received those reports po, no? Not only for provincial bus units, but also po yung nandito sa atin sa Metro Manila. In fact po, siguro it is also best that I explain it now. Marami na po tayong na issuehan po ng mga special permits, but some operators and drivers choose not to ply their routes. Bakit nga po? Kasi they have this connotation that they might not lead to profit. Kung kaya't ang DOTr naman po, at nagpapasalamat din kami sa ating Kongreso through Bayanihan 2, mayroon po kami mga programa to subsidize their operations. One of which po is yung tinatawag naming cash grant. This will be given po to all route-based transport na meron po silang matatanggap na 6,500 pesos, which they can use po sa kanilang day-to-day operations, even pambayad sa load or fuel subsidy. Meron din po tayo yung sinatawag natin, Kuya Cito, na service contracting. Meaning, they will still collect po yung fares ng ating mga pasahero and the government will pay them po per kilometer pa on top of what they are earning from the fare box po.
Okay. Yung pala yung service contracting. Kasi nung nabasa ko yung service contracting, akala ko shuttle service. Yung pala, well, para na rin shuttle service kayo ng gobyerno, di ba? Ang mangyayari, nagdadagdag ang gobyerno doon sa pamasaheng kinokobra ng driver o ng bus.
Tama po.
Okay.
Tama po, Kuya Cito.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Oo.
Tama po Kuya Cito. This will amplify po yung kinikita ng ating mga drivers, and at the same time, it will ensure po na may bibiyahing public transport natin kasi kailangan nga po natin to sa pagbubukas ng ating ekonomiya. And if I may add, Kuya Cito, one of the provisions also of service contracting is that dapat po isakay natin ng libre ang atin pong mga frontliners, specifically po ang ating medical workers.
Alam mo, napapatawa ako, Steve, pasensya ka na. Kasi nung sinabi mo, dapat isa kayong frontliner, syempre, pati police frontliner, di ba? Alam mo, itong tanda ko, usong-uso nung bata-bata pa ako, yung badge, sasakay ng bus, at ipapakita yung tsapa para malibre. So, parang umikot lang yung mundo natin.
Kuya Cito, ang tsapa naman po dito yung yung government ID po na yung ID po na medical worker po sila. No other. Yun lang po yung frontliners natin sa medical field.
The more things change, the more they look the same. In any case, Steve, matanong ko lang. This is all good, no? All the transportation are being rolled out, mga jeepney, UB Express, etc. Pero alam mo, syempre may pangamba rin tayo. I'm also concerned. What about the motor vehicle inspection or safety standards, etc.? Because in the last 2 weeks, hindi naman public transport yung mga na-disgrasya, pero I'm sure you heard of that ambulance that got rammed by a dump truck or a whatever, and 4 people were killed. Before that, yung isang truck na nawala ng preno and killed 10 people in a house, etc. Parang sabi ko, paano kaya sa public transport? Ano ba ang ginagawa ng DOTr in that area?
Opo. I'd like to quote po the good Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Togade po, tungkol po dito. That he said po that we are not fighting the few, but we are protecting the many. So ito po yung programang nilunsad po ng DOTr, yung Motor Vehicle Inspection System, which will check po the roadworthiness of the vehicles. Ito po, patuloy po nating niro-roll out. In fact, meron na pong mga ibang centers that are open now. Ang gusto po kasi natin dito, Kuyang Cito, ay matiyak na bawat sasakyan po na tumatakbo sa ating mga lansakan, particular po ang ating public transportation, ay roadworthy ho dapat.
Okay, so ano sila? Kailangan meron bang special check pa o depende na yan dahil narehistro ka, ang presumption natin na na-inspection sila?
Pag dito na po yung MBIS na po ginamit natin, instead po ngayon na you will only be required to have an emission test certificate, dito po sa atin, meron po more or less 55 steps po that will be checked kung roadworthy po yung sasakyan ninyo. So dito po natin masusukat kung ang sasakyan nga po ay talagang pwede pa hong gamitin sa lansangan. At ang particular po na sinicheck dito ay yung brakes niya po, even the brake lights, lahat po ng safety features ng isang sasakyan ay insured po dapat na gumagana po. At the same time, I'd like also to highlight na in the recent weeks po, the Land Transportation Office, together with other agencies such as the HPG po, conducted, and LTFRB, conducted po yung mga anti-drunk driving operations natin at gayon din po yung mga anti-overloading. Kasi usually po, one of the reasons of the accidents are overloaded po yung ating mga trucks, ganyan po. Yeah. So we continue to operate those, yung mga operations natin.
Okay, well, maraming salamat, Steve. At pahuling ko na lang, kung sakali makita mo si Secretary Togade, pakikamusta na lang at pakisuggest mo lang, sabihin mo, suggestion ko lang, baka pwedeng palagyan mandatory yung mga bus ng speed limiter. Kasi nakagamit ako niyan sa Amerika, ay may yung dinadrive kong truck, ay may speed limiter. talagang hindi ka lalampas sa 55. Pag tapalo mo pa lang ng 50, bumabagal na yung sasakyan mo. So para lang mabawasan yung mga aksidente. In any case, thank you very much, ASEC Steve Pastor, and thank you for giving us so much information this morning. Congratulations to the men and women of the DOTr.
Thank you, sir, and have a good day, and mabuhay po kayo.
Okay, yan po si Assistant Secretary Steve Pastor of the DOTr. We will go for a quick break, and when we return, atin namang kamustahin ang ating mga gabay sa Catholic Church. Paano na ang Pasko, ang undas para sa mga Katoliko sa Pilipinas here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching us on Signal TV by channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/OneNewsPH or YouTube OneNewsPH. Okay, going to our next topic, which is essentially what is in store for us, for those of you who are Catholics, na ano ba ang mangyayari sa Undas or All Souls, All Saints Day, and then also for Christmas. And nakaligtaan ko, yung meron din mga deboto ng Black Nazarene. And I just want to read the recap because it'll put everything in context. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno called on the Catholic Church to come up with a plan on how to observe the annual Simbang Gabi or pre-dawn masses that lead up to the celebration of Christmas Eve without violating the protocols prescribed by government and risking transmission of coronavirus. Mayor Moreno believes that the leaders of the church will be able to make a plan that would be acceptable to everybody. He said the plans for the observance of the Feast of the Black Nazarene also has to be discussed and planned out already. Kasi alam niyo po, yung Maynila, kadalasan parang pwede mo nang tawaging sentro ng Katolisismo sa Pilipinas kasi diyan nangyayari lahat yung mga piyesta, mga malawakang mga parade, etc. Let's go to Father Jerome Secillano, Public Affairs Committee Secretary General of the CBCP. Father Jerome, good morning to you. Nakamute ka yata, Father Jerome. Medyo, ano mo lang. Ayun, okay.
Good morning, good morning.
Okay, okay lang. Kahit naka-earphone ka. In any case, Father Jerome, thank you for joining us this morning. And I just want to ask you a favor of walking us through the plans or what's going to happen for the observance of, ano nga ba yung nauna? All Souls Day, di ba? All Souls Day o Undas. Pagkatapos yung Simbang Gabi, tapos yung Misa de Gallo o yung Christmas Eve Mass, pagkatapos yung Black Nazarene daw. Mismo si Mayor Moreno, Isko Moreno, nagsasabi na, pag-usapan na natin yan habang maaga.
Okay, unang-una yung Undas, ipagdiriwang pa rin naman yan Ang ipinagbabawal lang sa November 1 and November 2, actually hanggang November 4 nga, ay bawal pa yung mga tao na pumunta ng sementeryo. It will
Mm.
start actually on October 29 na ipinagbabawal nila. But then masses in churches will still be celebrated, and we encourage people to go to their parishes, to their churches. And for some of them who cannot go to their churches, we also encourage them to offer prayers for the dead. Yung mass intentions, wini-welcome namin. Kaya kung available man po ngayon na pumunta na ng mga sementeryo, ini-encourage namin sila na ngayon pa lang ay bumisita na sila sa mga mahal nilang yumao sa mga sementeryo.
Mhm. Yung pong may nabasa ako kamakalawa yung Undas Online. Yun ba, does the Catholic Church, the CBCP, have anything to do with this concept of Undas or All Souls Day online? And what will it be like if so?
Well, yan po ay proyekto ng media office ng CBCP. Matagal na po
Mm.
yan, kahit wala pa ng pandemya, ay ginagawa na po yan. Isa pong opportunity yan sa mga kababayan natin na hindi nakakauwi ng Pilipinas para mabisita nila yung mga puntod ng mga mahal nila sa buhay, na mag-offer na lang ng mga misa through online. At hindi na naman ito ngayon, kumbaga ay kakaiba dahil karamihan nga ng mga simbahan, ng mga parokya, ay merong online masses. So
Mhm.
kumbaga itong Undas Online ay binubuhay na muli, pero existing na yan before pa, at ang talagang goal nito ay mabigyan nga ng pagkakataon yung mga kababayan natin, for example, nasa ibang bansa, walang
Mhm.
mga Catholic Church dun sa mga bansa na kung nasaan sila, para makapag-alay lang ng misa. So it's not do not think that it's going to be a virtual visit to cemeteries. Pero ito ay unang-una ay pagbibigay ng pagkakataon para makapag-alay sila ng misa sa mga yumao.
Okay, so it will actually it will in effect be a holy mass done online.
Yes.
And then you can, if you are a Catholic abroad, you can send money, or how do you arrange para makapag-alay ka ng misa para sa mga yumaon o kung nasa abroad ka? Kasi I'm sure napapanood din tayo abroad, baka magtatanong sila, Father Jerome, paano ba gagawin 'yun?
Well, simple lang po, ita-type lang nila Undas Online, lalabas sa dito yung mga info, at doon na nila makikita yung mga instructions, kung paano sila mag-aalay ng kanilang mass intentions, and then
Mhm.
kung gusto nila magbigay ng donation, so pwede naman po yun na makita na nila doon mismo, yung mga detalye.
Okay, Father Jerome, wag mo akong papagalitan ha. Nagtatanong ako, sincero baka mamaya masabon ako eh. And not that you do it, but I'm curious, how much do you pay, or do I pay kung kunyari nasa Amerika ako o nasa Italy or wherever, may mga Catholic church naman doon. Magkano ba yung bayad para magpamisa sa mga yumaon?
Hindi naman po ang tawag dito ay bayad. Ang tawag
Aha,
dito ay mass offering. O di kaya yung
okay.
ibang tawag dyan, love offering. Yung iba
Mm.
naman ang tawag dyan ay donation. So, from the word itself, hindi kami dito nagbibigay ng eksaktong amount. Well, sa ibang mga parokya, meron pa rin silang eksaktong amount because of the need also of the parish. But
Mm.
the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines is trying to abolish the exact amount that needs to be given to the church para sa kanilang mga mass intentions. So
Mhm.
unti-unti na ngayon ay inaalis yan. Kaya mahalaga lang dito ay unang-una na kayo ay nagpamisa. Ngayon kung sakali man kayo ay magbibigay, it's up to you how much you are going to donate to the church. Well, in particular, halimbawa sa amin pong parokya, ako po ay kura paroko, hindi po kami dito humihingi ng eksakto na love offering nila. If, for
Mhm.
example, they're going to give to offer masses, whatever they want to give, whatever they want to donate, we accept them. Now, if they don't want to give anything, it's also okay. Kasi ang goal naman natin dito ay mamisahan natin
Mhm.
yung kung ano man ang intention ng nagpapamisa.
Okay, is there a difference between a mass for the departed, compared to the regular mass that people attend on Sundays or holidays?
Well, it's about the intention. When we say mass for the departed, the intention is really to pray for those who died, for
Mhm.
the dead. Kapag halimbawa naman yung mga everyday masses, merong iba't ibang intention siya. Yung
Aha.
iba dyan ay for healing, yung iba dyan safe travel, yung iba dyan kaya Thanksgiving. So, samot-sari yung mga intentions. But when we speak of November 2, kasi yan talaga yung piyesta ng mga patay, ang intentions talaga niyan ay para sa mga yumao.
Okay, matanong ko lang, bakit meron tayong All Souls Day tapos may All Saints Day pa? Kasi alam mo, nako-confuse ako diyan kadalasan na pinagtatawanan ako ng mga bata Pero sabi ko nga, ano nga ba ang kaibahan? Bakit merong souls at merong saints?
Well, yung mga saints kasi natin, November 1 is All Saints Day. Number 1 is, meron kasi mga saints na hindi naman talaga formally recognized or canonized. We call this canonization. So alam mo, yung santo ay dinideklara formally ng simbahan through the process of canonization. So those who were not canonized, na pinaniniwalaan ng simbahan, na sila din naman yung mga santo, yun ang ipinagdiriwang natin, nire-recognize natin sa All Saints Day. That's why we call it All Saints Day. Pag sinabi naman nating All Souls Day, which we celebrate on November 2, that is in commemoration of the dead. So basically, yun ang essential difference. When we speak of All Saints, there are saints which we recognize that are not formally declared by the church, that were not canonized, but we consider them as saints. And then when
Okay.
we speak of All Souls Day, well, it's a commemoration of the dead, all the departed.
So, All Souls para sa mga namatay period, and that's November 1.
November 2, All Souls Day. November
November
1 is
2?
All Saints Day.
Wala. Kanya pala ako nalilito kasi akala ko yung November 1 ang All Souls para sa mga patay. Yung pala para sa mga namatay na hindi na beatify.
Na canonize.
Na hindi na canonize, na beatify pero hindi na canonize. Ay, tingnan mo nga naman yan. Tumanda na ako at lahat, mali-mali pa yung pagkaintindi ko. In any case, Father Jerome, moving forward, paano naman yung ating marami, lahat naman kami, kinalakihan namin yan, simbang gabi. At yung iba namang mga evangelicals, meron na rin silang sambang gabi. Sa CBCP, ano na ba napapag-usapan? Magkakaroon ba tayo ng simbang gabi? At kung meron, anong oras?
Well, definitely, yung simbang gabi ay itutuloy pa rin naman yan. Pero meron mga plano, halimbawa sa Archdiocese of Manila na makipag-ugnayan sa gobyerno, IATF, and then yung mga local governments, para i-ease out nila yung protocol about curfew. Kasi ngayon yung curfew natin na existing ay 10 o'clock p.m. and then 5 a.m. magtatapos. Ngayon ay iniisip ng Archdiocese of Manila na makipag-ugnayan nga para at least ay i-adjust sila ng konti, lalong-lalo na sa umaga. Yung umaga kasi, ang usual na start ng simbang gabi ay 3 a.m., sa iba 4 a.m. But if the curfew is until 5 a.m., so medyo late na, di ba? So kaya yun po ang isang adjustment na maaaring hilingin ng simbahan. And then I'd like to assure the public that protocols will still be in place. Pina-practice naman yan ngayon. Limited lang yung number ng attendees sa loob ng simbahan. Merong physical distancing, merong mga alcohol and then disinfectants, merong pag-check ng kanilang body temperature, at meron lang isang entry point, and then iba naman yung exit point sa loob ng simbahan. So, these are already existing and I don't think it's going to change. Ang
Okay.
nakita ko lang dito na maaaring magbago, yun nga po, yung curfew para mai-allow naman yung mga tao na makapagsimba talaga sila sa tamang oras.
Kasi I mean traditionally people who attend the simbang gabi, early dawn masses, look forward kasi sabi nila madilim-dilim pa, it's still dark, it's cool, etc. Will 5 o'clock, will lifting the curfew at 4 o'clock do the trick?
Well, I think so. Pwede na naman yun. 4 o'clock siguro. Tapos ay susundan naman yan ng... Kinakailangan kasi natin dito, Cito, na magdagdag din ng misa. Kasi kung limited lang yung mga tao na pwedeng pumasok ng simbahan, kawawa naman din yung iba na gusto magsimba. And so therefore, I think it's also
Okay.
a plan to add masses for the simbang gabi. Kaya siguro yung sa gabi, kung 10 o'clock yung start ng curfew, baka yung tinatawag naming anticipated simbang gabi mag-start ng 7 a.m. So technically, baka magkaroon ng dalawa na anticipated mass para
Which
maka-accommodate tayo ng maraming tao.
at
And then,
approximately what time, Father Jerome?
7 o'clock, 7 p.m. So pwede
Okay.
mag-start ng 7 p.m. and then baka kasunod yan is 8:30 so that the people will not be affected by the curfew that starts at 10 p.m.
Okay.
And then
So
in the
hindi
morning,
Oo.
kung sakali na i-adjust nila, baka pagbigyan halimbawa 3 a.m. o kaya 4 a.m. So
Hmm.
baka kakayanin pa ng dalawang misa din kung ganun nga ang magiging
Mga
adjustment.
mga 4:30 at saka 6:30. Madilim-dilim pa
Well,
naman yun.
ang 6:30 medyo umaga na
Wala
yan.
na, umaga na,
Mas
mataas na. Oo.
Mas maganda siguro kung halimbawa i-start natin ng 3:30, baka ganyan 3:30 para yung kasunod
Aha.
4:30 para at least talagang dawn mass pa rin.
Pero yung if that is actually something that the IATF, the Metro Manila Council and the CBCP can work on, it will be for a very limited number of days. 'Di ba ilang araw 'yan? 'Di ba 9
9
days
days.
lang 'yan? Oh.
9 days yan. It's actually a novena, preparation
Mm.
for the birth of Christ. So kaya
Mhm.
9 days yan. Kaya nag-uumpisa
Mhm.
yan ng December 16 and then it ends on December 24, early morning of December 24. But if we count if we take into consideration the so-called anticipated masses, we start on December 15, 7 p.m. And then it ends on December 23 and then sa gabi din nagtatapos.
Okay, just para naman matuto yung ibang tao, no? Because I've noticed this. A lot of people kind of participate in certain practices without even understanding the purpose or the point. Now, in this case, you mentioned it's a 9-day novena. Could you just explain to our viewers ano ba itong simbang gabi at bakit natin ginagawa ang simbang gabi?
Well, iyan ay isang practice na dinala sa atin dito ng mga Espanyol. Ang talagang tawag nila dyan ay Misa de Gallo. So, ang literal translation niyan is Mass of the Rooster. Gallo is rooster.
Hmm.
Ang ibig sabihin nito ng Mass of the Rooster ay pagtilaok ng manok, bumabangon na yung mga tao para sila ay magsimba. Binibigyan sila ng pagkakataon para makapagpasalamat sa Diyos before they begin their day. So yun ang literal na ibig sabihin niyan. Ngayon, over time, yan ay nag-evolve kasi dumami yung mga nagsisimba. We need to accommodate more devotees, more churchgoers. Kaya nagkaroon na rin ng tinatawag na anticipated mass. Kasi ngayon, merong mga pumupunta ng opisina and they cannot actually wake up early morning, late na sila umuwi. Kaya binigyan sila ng chance na makapagsimba na rin sa gabi bago talaga sila tuluyan na makapagpahinga.
Mhm.
So, ang ginagawa dito, number one is preparation nga yan for the birth of Christ. We Catholics, we celebrate that on December 25. So, there's a 9-day period of preparation. And then, in this preparation, of course, we encourage people, number one, is to be grateful to the Lord. Thanksgiving, that spirit of thanksgiving. And then, of course, aside from that spirit of thanksgiving, part of the preparation is reparation. Ibig sabihin ng preparation, well, we are all sinners in need of God's forgiveness. So, sana makapag-prepare din tayo sa pamamagitan ng pagsisisi, pagbabalik loob sa Diyos. And then, more people actually have their petitions. Ano bang gusto nila na mangyari sa kanila? Andi dito na yung good health sana, success sa business. So, yan ang kanya-kanya ng mga hinihingi. During this time.
Ngayon, nagbago na kasi nung unang panahon sabi nga nitong si Ginong Ildefonso Bayani, yun daw mga pamisan ng mga magsasaka bago sila mag-araro, nakakapagsimba sila kanya madaling araw. At saka, nung panahon ng mga dasal, farmers would pray for a good harvest, a good crop. Ngayon, ang pinipray boyfriend at girlfriend
Well, we don't want we don't want to actually say that many people today ganun na lang hinihingi. But I think it's going to be a focal point na ang dasal ng tao dito ay matapos sa itong pandemya, masurvive nila itong crisis, and then of course, kung ano man mga difficulties that they encounter, they may have the strength and the grace from God to be able to overcome them. Kasi kailangan natin mag-survive talaga dito.
Okay, matanong ko po. So, you're confident the masses, the early dawn masses or the novena will push through. Now, what about yung sa Black Nazarene? Medyo, alam mo, nagiging controversial yung Black Nazarene kasi nga in the past, medyo may mga taong hindi, mga pasaway ba? At saka may mga nagsasabing, bishop, I think, I remember a bishop saying, it's getting out of hand. Will it still be observed? What sort of observation will be done with the Black Nazarene, Feast of the Black Nazarene?
I'm not privy to the preparations being done with regards to the celebration of Black Nazarene. The preparation is actually planned by the priests of Quiapo Church with the help of the city government of Manila. But I guess with the situation that we are into right now, there will be adjustments. So I just don't know yet the details of that. Kasi sila naman din ang mga nagbi-meeting dyan. Pero I think naman with this current situation that we have right now, ay hindi naman siguro yan magiging katulad nung dati na talaga may prosesyon, napakaraming tao. I think they're going to adjust.
Posible bang maging procession na lang yan? Kasi marami naman kayo sa mga piyesta, di ba? Nakikita yung mga procession na maayos. Nagmamarcha ang mga tao, nagdadasal, may mga hawak na kandila. Pero kung tutuusin na, socially distant yung mga nasa prosesyon. Posible bang mangyari yan? Or will the CBCP be more inclined to let's not risk it? It may impact us, but let's not risk it.
Okay, the role of the CBCP in the Feast of the Black Nazarene is not actually there. Well, ang talagang nagde-decide niya, na pagpaplano niyan, sabi ko nga, ay yung mga pari ng Quiapo, yung mga pari na nasa Iloilo.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. That's their territory. Pero I was always under the impression that the CBCP is a governing body na nagsasabing, boss, brother, wag muna nating gawin yan, father so and so, at baka madisgrasya tayong lahat dyan.
Mas maganda siguro i-clarify ko na lang ang governing body ng mga parokya ay falls under the parish priest, and then the parish priest is accountable to the bishop. So dito sa ganitong dynamics, meron tayong tinatawag na diocese or archdiocese. Yung diocese or archdiocese, sila yung overarching territory na merong kumbaga ay governance dito sa iba't ibang mga parokya. Kaya kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung Quiapo, it falls under the jurisdiction of the Archdiocese of Manila. And the Archdiocese of Manila has a bishop. So siya talaga yung meron ditong say, hindi yung CBCP. The CBCP is a conference. Pag sinabi natin conference, siya ay pagtitipon, pagsasama-sama ng mga obispo para i-deal nila kung ano yung mga concerns, kung ano ang pwede maging policy with regards to faith and morals. So yun lang ang kanilang pwedeng i-deal dito. But specifics, katulad ng Quiapo, it falls under the responsibility of the Bishop of the Archdiocese of Manila.
Ayun. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Father Jerome. Kasi alam mo, tayo naman ay ignorante. Kanya medyo hindi natin alam. I always had this impression that the CBCP was parang the governing body. Hindi naman pala. So it's the Bishop of the Archdiocese of Manila who will have the final say alongside, of course, the mayor of the city of Manila. Kasi sila rin yung apektado na yan. Okay, moving forward, Father Jerome, meron kasing itong aking executive producer, merong sinusundot sa akin dito. Dahil for the first time daw, silang mga millennials, meron na raw silang isang katawan or a member of the millennial generation who is on standby na baka maging santo. Yung he has been beatified. Itong si Carlo Acutis, he was a 15-year-old millennial computer techie na namatay yata ng leukemia, na-beatify daw. May alam ka ba din Father Jerome?
Well, Carlo Acutis was leukemic. He was born in London but grew up in Milan, and he was a computer expert, And one of the remarkable things that he did was to collate the Eucharistic miracles that happened around the world and put it in a website. And then when he died, nagkaroon ng miracle attributed to him. I think it was a Brazilian boy who was suffering from a rare pancreatic disease. And then ipinagdasal nung nanay niya itong bata at hiningi niya yung tulong nitong si Carlo Acutis. And then lo and behold, itong bata ay nakakakain na, hindi na siya nakaranas ng pananakit, ng tiyan, and then dati nagba-vomit siya. Immediately after kissing the relic of Carlo Acutis, he got well. So an investigation ensued, and so it was found out that really the healing of this boy from Brazil was attributed to the intercession or intervention of Carlo Acutis. So that was one requirement, a miracle, a requirement for the beatification of this boy, a 15-year-old boy who died of leukemia.
Okay, now beatification is the first step. So parang nire-recognize na holy siya, banal siya. Yun ba ang ibig sabihin nun?
Yes, at isang step na lang ang hinihintay para siya ay formally madeklara na santo. Ang tawag natin dito ay canonization.
Okay, and how is that? Yeah, go ahead.
Another requirement will be a miracle attributed to him. So yung beatification is a miracle, kaya na-beatify na siya because it was found out that he was instrumental in the healing of that Brazilian boy. Okay. And then church's authorities will again investigate if another miracle will be attributed to him. And so the road to canonization is not far-fetched.
Okay, so will he be, if assuming he becomes saint, will he be called the saint of the millennials or the saint of the computer generation? Kasi medyo yung kanyang works computer parang wow. Honestly, napapawaw ako kasi ngayon ko palang nare-realize hindi ko akalain, never in my wildest dream did I ever imagine one day we will be talking about a possible saint whose life's work was related to computers and the miracles all over the world.
Well, as of now, tinatawag na siya na Saint of the Millennial. O meron din namang patron saint of the internet. So yan ang mga labeling na nababasa natin ngayon. But when finally maybe this beato is canonized, depende yan kung ano talaga ang idideklara ng simbahan. So baka naman mag-stick yung patron saint of the internet. Kaya pwede din namang saint of the millennial. So I don't know. Titingnan natin, naabangan natin kung ano talaga yung itatawag sa kanya.
Okay, pasingit na lang Father Jerome kasi I don't know if you get to read my column. I recently wrote about the struggles of churches nationwide, Catholic and Evangelical Protestants, na medyo struggling because of financial difficulties, nawalan ng mga church service, nawala yung mga church activities, etc. Kamusta naman po ba sa Catholic churches? Kasi alam ko dun sa mga non-Catholic churches, nawalan sila ng mga marriage, ng mga weddings, baptisms, at saka yung mga seminars, pati yung mga yung sinasabi mong love offering down to 20% of 20% na lang daw. Kamusta ba sa Catholic Church?
Well, yung mga sacraments na ginagawa sa Katolikong simbahan ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Ang nililimit lang dito yung participation ng mga tao. We have masses, we have weddings, we have baptism, confession, and everything. For as long as we limit the number of attendees. in accordance with IATF protocols. And then when it comes to love offerings, collections, donations, well, yung mass collections, of course, talagang bababa yan. Kasi limited nga yung mga tao nagsisimba. But yung donations, well, thanks be to God, there are generous donors. And when we speak of donors, hindi na lang ito yung mga parishioners namin. Meron din talaga nung mga nanggagaling sa ibang lugar, territory, na nagmamalasakit, tumutulong sila, nagbibigay sila sa pamamagitan ng money transfer, sa pamamagitan ng bank deposits. So these are the modes of donations right now. And then when it comes to, of course, mga seminars and recollections or forum, we limit also these activities. But there are still activities of that sort. Yun nga lang, again, yung attendees ang talagang nililimitahan din namin.
So, ano naman, managing naman kayo sa mga churches at saka nagtutulungan, di ba? Nagtutulungan yung big or mas financially stable parishes, tinutulungan yung mga maliliit na mga churches or parishes.
I guess the apt word is surviving. Surviving naman kahit papaano,
Oo.
Sabi ko nga ay malaking bagay. Ganito yun, Cito, dahil nga kumonte yung services namin sa simbahan, of course, yung utilities ay mababawasan din. Yung bayad namin dyan. Of course, yung electric consumption, so hindi na ganun kataas din niya, nababawasan. And then, yung iba kasing mga parokya ay talagang binabaan din nila yung sweldo ng kanilang staff kasi wala din naman din talagang ginagawa. So, yung pag-report nila, very din, organized and limited in a sense. Kaya medyo nagbawas din. Sa iba lang, nagbawas din ng sweldo sa iba. Pero yung iba talaga kompleto pa rin. So definitely, itong mga ito naka-offset sa kakulangan din naman ng pumapasok na income o tawag natin doon income. Okay. So, ano dyan din yung mga donors, yung mga nagmamalasakit. Kaya surviving ika nga.
Okay.
But more than that at survival mode, I guess ang pinakamahalaga dito ay merong tumulong sa simbahan para yung simbahan in turn makatulong din sa mas nangangailangan.
Bingo. Thank you, Father Jerome, for saying that kasi yan po yung sinabi ko dun sa column ko. Sabi ko, nung tayo ay nangangailangan ng gabay, when we were in need of spiritual, moral, emotional guidance, we leaned on our priests, our pastors, our church ministers. But now, when our churches are struggling, we must now be there for our churches kasi to allow our churches to suffer and be diminished is to allow the devil to win the war. And thank you for that input, Father Jerome, and all the information you've shared this morning. We hope that not only will our churches survive, but our churches will all prosper, whether we are Catholics, Protestants, or born again. Sama-sama tayo, tulungan natin ang simbahan. Thank you, Father Jerome.
Thank you so much, Cito, and thank you so much also for that thoughts about the church. Thank you. It was very well written. Salamat.
Okay. Thank you. And yan po si Father Jerome Secillano of the Catholic Bishops Conference, Executive Secretary po siya at siya yung ating regular na nakakausap dito para bigyan naman tayo ng kaalaman on the practices. Because please lang po, wag naman yung magsisimba kayo para lang kasi maramdaman ninyo yung malamig na hangin, matikman nyo yung puto bongbong o masinayan ninyo yung magagandang dalaginding sa barangay nyo. Ayan, pinaglalaban po yan ng mga arsobispo, ng mga obispo, yung makabalik ang ating simbang gabi o yung mga sambang gabi. Kami sa Christian churches, sambang gabi. Pagkatapos, hindi man lang ninyo papahalagahan yung mataimtim na pagdadasal. Especially now, when we are all under threat, when we are all financially constrained, I just want to encourage all of you to be deep in prayer and to be reflective of, of what Christmas is all about And let's all pray that we will have simbang gabi and that we will boldly go on with these things and not let the devil win the war. Okay, let's go for a break and we will return. When we return, balikan natin si Dr. Leachon para makakuha naman tayo ng update regarding medical concerns, particularly with COVID-19 here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda, and I'm Cito Beltran, your host. And at this part of our program, let's bring in a regular here on Agenda, Dr. Anthony Leachon, to help us assess different issues in the medical field, particularly with regards to COVID-19, regarding the they say, medyo nauutal ako, hindi ko masabi kasi clinical trials ba? They're saying there will be clinical trials for the Chinese vaccine. It's actually there in the front page of the Philippine Star. It's saying Chinese vaccine cleared for Philippine clinical trials. May mga ibang trials medyo tinigil. Dalawang kumpanya na abroad, they had to stop their trials because of a reaction. What does this signify? What does this mean? And then, of course, the UP-OCTA Research Group report that the trend of COVID-19 transmission, at least here in NCR, is going down. Let's bring in our friend, Dr. Tony Leachon. Doc Tony, good morning. Are you there?
Yeah. Good morning,
Okay.
Cito. Good morning.
Kamusta ka na, Doc Tony? You seem to be in better looking, healthy. Hindi ka na mukhang malungkot o depressed.
I'm okay, Cito. I'm working here as chair of the civil society in Quezon City, helping the Quezon City government in trying to reduce the viral transmission. So, yun ang work ngayon. Yun ang work ko ngayon.
Perfect timing kasi I heard from the UP-OCTA Research Group na yung Quezon City ay ano ba sila? Number 11 lang sila out of 17 or whatever.
Number 13 sila out of the NCR LGUs.
Oo. So kumbaga, sa laki ng populasyon ng Quezon City, hindi sila yung pinakamarami ang kaso, bumaba sila. Now,
Exactly.
okay, and what's your reading on the current situation overall as far as COVID-19 in the Philippines is concerned? Do you agree with the UP-OCTA research that the trend is going down? Is the scenario improving, or is this just a momentary lull bago magwala na naman itong COVID-19 na ito?
Well, based on the UP-OCTA Research Group and according to my readings, yung ating cases from last month na 5,000, nationally it's 2,500. Sa National Capital Region, 3,000 last month, but it's less than 1,000 cases per day, yun ang average. So that's very good. And then yung reproduction number, ang normal less than 1. Ang Philippines ay 0.87. In fact, ang Quezon City yesterday 0.67. And then ang whole NCR 0.82. So malayo do sa less than 1. So what does it mean? It means yung local transmission natin bumababa in the National Capital Region sa epicenter. May caveat lang, but yung areas around the National Capital Region, may sprinkles na nag-i-start tumaas, pero hindi pa ganun kataas. They call it hot potential areas, and these are yung Batangas, meron that is basically Bawan, then General Trias Cavite, and then meron din sa Northern Luzon, that's Baguio na nakontrol na, Cagayan, Isabela, and Pangasinan, but not as big pag sinabi nating NCR. And then there are sprinkles as well in Mindanao. But overall, since ang financial center natin, epicenter natin ay NCR, which is 60% ng ating economy, napaka-importante. So overall, I think we're doing well in the National Capital Region. So kailangan lang ako personally is to really focus on the health protocols. Kasi I think ang nagdala sa atin na Cito, napagod na tayo ng up and down. Nung nagkaroon ng ECQ ng timeout ng doktor, then MECQ, that actually spelled the difference bumaba siya And then yun din sa Cebu, ang greatest reference model. Less than 10 cases a day na lang sila, and truly na-flatten nila yung curve. And then the social behavior of the Cebuanos na sinasabi dati stubborn, hindi nakikinig, nagbago. So what I'm trying to say right now, ang magliligtas lang sa National Capital Region is basically education and adherence to the health protocol. Kasi Sito, alam mo ngayon, ang Europe, binabasa ko kagabi, Grabe, nag-surge ang France, UK, at Germany and Italy. Talagang steep yung curve.
Mhm.
And they attributed this to the non-adherence. Yung kumbaga, cavalier attitude na naman nila na sila yung nagkaganito. And then dahil malamig, marami ngayon na nasa loob ng bahay. So lalabas sila, and then pag
Mm.
lumamig, papasok sila sa loob, ang dami nilang sa loob ng indoor places, doon nagkakahawahan. I was reading it until midnight last night. All the headlines are saying, and then the Europe cases ngayon, mas marami kaysa no March.
Mhm.
Ang second wave kasi ang mas marami. So, I think ako personally, we're
Yeah.
doing well, but as we reopen the economy, we should not relax our health protocols. I'm
Well,
I'm
I
all
think
for.
yeah, I wanna confirm what you said, no? Kasi nabanggit ko na rin yan yesterday dahil yung misis ko nga, si Karen, and my daughter Hannah are both in the Netherlands. And I said, mag-lunch na lang kayo sa labas. And they both said, Papa, we can't because all the restaurants are closed. They've shut down all of the public places, bars, pubs, restaurants, etc. Dahil nga may surge. And you're right. Again, it has to do with people not wearing mask. At kami ngang magpamilya, nako, galit na nga sa akin yung mag-ina ko dahil miyat-miya, sinisit ako. Pag nagpadala ng picture, biglang hindi suot yung mask. Why aren't you wearing your mask? Where is your face shield? So, in any case, dito sa Pilipinas, I noted, not a lot of people noticed this, no? In the news the other day, when Malacanang announced the expansion of 15 to 65-year-old na allowed outside of residences, the cabinet also made a point that there is a need to invest on public information and communication. Parang finally, the cabinet recognizes na dapat paalalahanan at turuan ang mga mamamayan continually. Kayo sa Quezon City, ano ba ang ginagawa dyan para gawin to? Kasi sabi ko, hindi pwede yung mga presser, yung mga
Yeah.
press conference. Kailangan
Okay.
i-bombard natin, i-brainwash natin ang mamamayan na kasi ako mismo, nakakalimot din ako ng face mask ko dito sa bahay. No? Anong ginagawa niyo sa Quezon City?
Okay. Ito, Sito, sabihin ko sa iyo. Dalawa ang aspeto. Yesterday, I had 3 hours in the Quezon City Council. May hearing, in fact, third hearing na. We're going to introduce and weave into the curriculum COVID knowledge and information together with DepEd, andun DepEd, civil society and the medical community, Philippine College of Physicians, Philippine Family Physicians. I-enhance namin yung module so that the grade school and the high school maging resilient, adaptive, educated, and engaged so that they will be able to assimilate this knowledge and then maging way of life siya. And then on October 22, meron kaming convention sa Quezon City. Ang imbitahan namin, imagine mo Dr. Elsa Salbanya, ako, si Congressman Kimbo in the Economy, Secretary Anyo. Ang imbitado, all barangay captains and mga 200 John, lahat ng konsihal, business leaders, siguro abot kami 1,000.
Ano yan,
So,
Zoom o physical?
Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom, virtual. So parang to teach, to heal, and to lead. So everybody will be on one page. Alright. And then kahapon sa meeting, bibigyan ng appropriation kasi sabi ko, dapat yung protective gear, yung mask, yung face shield, lahat i-provide dyan eh. Kasi sometimes yung ating mahirap na kababayan, hindi maka-wear ng mask, hindi dahil may aversion to mask, but because talagang kulang. So, pag ito yung naging okay, susulat kami executive order to the President. And then nakita ko, I talked to Senator Angara, nag-file pala siya ng bill to include COVID, epidemic, pandemic, so that the next generation of Filipinos, para mga Hapon, na pagka nagka-earthquake yan, nakaganon lang, they know what to do.
Mm.
Nagkataon may lower counterpart sa House of Representatives, si Congressman Alfred Vargas.
Oh.
So, magiging batas 'yan na ang Pilipino dapat sa dami ng ating calamity, disaster preparedness, dapat handa, and then may pondo. Ayun, sinasabi mo, for information campaign, education, and communication. Kasi ang tingin ko, pagka ang Pilipino and meron dito tungkol sa COVID, lalabas yan sa behavior, and eventually para mga Japanese, South Korea, na magiging way of life. Tamo ang Vietnam, New Zealand, after na ma-flatten, nag-second wave, flat kagad nila. Ang bilis nilang mag-recover because they know what to do eh. So sa atin, konting luwag lang, makikita mo, nagkakaroon tayo ng problema sa social behavior.
Nervous ka ba? Are you worried? Are you concerned about this expanded age bracket of people allowed out of residence? Or are you confident na medyo sabagay, takot na rin ang taong lumabas, so kahit na lawakan natin yan, hindi automatic na lalabas? Are you worried about this?
Meron akong ang tawag ko diyan vigilant optimism. Kasi yung sa Sweden kasi cavalier sila eh. Inanalyze yun kahapon din, binasa ko sa John Hopkins. Ang desisyon pala talaga ng Sweden, patay kung patay, herd immunity sila, labasan sila. Doon na flatten nila, pero ang daming namatay sa kanila. Ang namatay sa kanila yung mga may edad. Kumbaga na-sacrifice sila to have their... So, sabi ni Dr. Anthony Fauci, that will be crazy. Kasi kung mag-herd immunity ka ngayon, ang unang madadalin yan vulnerable segment. At usually ito yung matatanda na may comorbid condition. So ako na...
Hindi ba ka kinondem nga, kumbaga sinita ng World Health Organization yung mga nagsusulong ng herd immunity? Kasi maski naman sa atin sa Pilipinas, di ba ilang kaibigan mo o kasama mong mga doktor ang na 2-0 patay on the second turn, di ba? Kumbaga akala natin pag nagkaroon ka na ng COVID-19, magkakaroon ka ng immunity, kalabas-labasan, wala palang immunity. After a few months, pag tinamaan ka ulit, malamang at malamang matigok ka.
Tama Cito. Kasi sabi ng World Health Organization at saka ni Dr. Anthony Fauci na pinakamagaling sa Amerika, the jury is still out there kung talagang nahawa ka may permanent immunity ka. Lumalabas nga may reinfection, and that would need siguro 1 or 2 doses of vaccine eh. So that will be sa akin reckless yun pag ginawa natin yun. Kaya ako personally, I'm telling my mga patients, kung talagang kailangan yung lumabas kayo. And kunyari, if you need to visit the doctor, which is the most important, kasi ang daming non-COVID cases ngayon na namamatay na lang, let's say stroke, heart attack, cancer, kasi 8 months na walang check-up, yun ang dapat yung gawin. Kasi hindi nalalaman ng taong bayan, akala nila ang majority po ngayon ng confinement in the hospitals hindi na halos non-COVID. Non-COVID na po. At kaya sila lumalabas lang yung matatanda para magpa-check up lang kasi ang tagal nilang walang check up. So kung ako tatanungin nyo, though you're given right now the go signal to go out, maghinay-hinay muna po tayo. Lumabas lang po kung kailangan at hayaan muna natin yung mga working class na malalakas ang immunity na lumabas. Sa akin, kailangan sabayan habang bumababa kasi I understand. I used to believe in continual lockdown. Pero at this point in time that the unemployment rate is very high, we're on economic recession, I think we have to roll with the punches, armed right now with resilience and an educated mind, and of course a compliant social behavior that we can roll with the punches while bumababa yung cases, and then work also as well.
Tony, Doc Tony, we're down to our last 2 minutes, so quick Q&A lang, no? Are you confident about this clinical trials for COVID vaccine being done in the Philippines, or is there a concern na baka maging guinea pigs tayo?
May concern ako kasi yung Russia and China wala silang track record for quality and studies eh. Alam naman natin lang yan eh. And then number two, ang Philippines din hindi sanay din na mga clinical trials of that global standards. So yun ang concern ko.
Okay,
But of course,
yeah. Would you support a standardized face mask program? Kasi na-observe ko lang no na maraming taong nagbababa ng mask nila. Yung mga mask na homemade, yung mga makakapal, hindi sila makahinga. Would you support a program where there would be a standard design, manipis lang, etc.? Kasi napapansin ko dumadami yung gumagamit ng disposable na manipis. And when I ask them, they say, sir, ito yung pinakamura sa tindahan at saka yung manipis, nakakahinga kami. What would be the guideline for a face mask as far as you're concerned?
okay. Actually, ang sinusunod ko dyan, Cito, yung Swiss cheese model. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, all measures are actually complementary. Walang perfect yan. Ang pinakamataas talaga sa risk reduction is the social distancing, at least 90%. Oh,
Okay.
pero ang pinakamagaling na mask talaga na masasakal ka 95, 96% ho ang protection nun. Pag ho face mask na ordinary, yung surgical mask, 67% lang. Pagka naka-face shield ka, 78%. Pag pino-combine mo yung tatlo, 1 meter distancing, face mask, and then face shield, aabot sa 99. So ibig sabihin mga kaibigan, okay naman ho yung maninipis na face mask na yan, but it has to be combined with a face shield and a 1 meter distancing para maging 99%. Kasi ako mismo, hindi po ako naka-N95 kasi yan ho talaga naman masasakal ka talaga sa higpit. I only do that when you enter special places in the hospital. But overall, since 9 months, wala naman nangyayari sa akin. Going to the hospital, I'm okay. So the long and short of it, mga kaibigan, you combine 1 meter distancing, mag-face mask ka, and then mag-face shield ka. Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I'll have to leave it at that, Tony, because we've run out of time. But please let us know what's happening sa Quezon City, dun sa conference nyo, yung online conference. And we hope that Quezon City will run away with all the gold medals as far as bringing down COVID-19 kasi nakakapagod na rin.
Ang tawag sa group namin Kill COVID, kilusang kontra COVID, the whole civil society. And
Okay. Mag-kill COVID, ha? Siguraduhin nyo lang, ha? Yung COVID ang pinapatay natin. Okay, thank you very much, Doc Tony. And,
Thank you.
take care and more power to you.
Thank you.
Okay, yan po si Doc Tony Leachon. Yun, sabi niya, he's part of the Kill COVID Civil Society Group and he is now with the Quezon City government helping. And congratulations to Quezon City government kasi bagamat sila ang pinakamalaki, they're the biggest in terms of land area, population, etc. They're not exactly at the top of the but because of statistics, they are not at the top of the charts as far as COVID-19 cases, and that tells us that it can be controlled, something can be done about COVID-19. In any case, that's all for our show today, and I thank all of you for joining us, lalo na yung mga nag-comment po, nagpadala ng kanilang inputs. We can't read everything, but thank you because ang hirap pong mag-multitasking. Ang binabasa kong screen 3, plus may camera pa. So medyo pagpasensyaan nyo na po kung minsan hindi ko nababasa. Nonetheless, may I ask a personal favor of all our viewers who have computers and are online, please go to the Philippine Star website and online, Philippine Star Online. Check out my column last Wednesday, I believe, or last Monday. Monday yata, medyo pasensya na. Tumatanda na ako yan. Basta hanapin ninyo Talk by Cito Beltran, Beyond Attendance Survival. Beyond Attendance Survival. Kasi marami po kayong malalaman, discover, if you are a person of faith, you have a religion that you subscribe to, and you belong to a church, it might shock you to discover that many churches in the Philippines are literally suffering financially, organizationally, operationally. And sana po ay basahin ninyo because they need help, and they were there for us when we needed help during the times of our lives. Parang commercial, ano? Parang Kodak, ano? Pero let's be there for our churches. God bless all of you, and may you have a great weekend. Thank you to Team Agenda for keeping it up, and God bless.